Welcome to Salt and Light Canning. I'm Jessica and this is my kitchen. Today we're making one of my favorite things, which is pickled beets. Now I have not made pickled beets on the channel before, so but this time I am doing it a little differently. I'm roasting my beets instead of boiling them. And I'm thinking with the roasted beets that I will end up with a more flavorful beet because I'm retaining a lot of that juice by roasting them instead of boiling them. But we will see how it goes. My plan is to peel them when they're done and they've cooled off enough to handle, and I'll peel them as I put them in the jars. So right now I am just taking off the tops and this little end piece and cutting them into like 1-inch cubes. And I washed my beets. I washed them in cold water with a little splash of vinegar just to help make sure that they were clean. But that's what I'm doing. We really like, well, my daughter and I really like pickled beets, and we like them enough to not care if the rest of the family likes pickled beets or not. So that's what we're doing today. Now I gotta tell you, if you're working with beets, they're going to stain your fingers, they're gonna stain your cutting board, your clothes, everything. So I'm using a cutting board that's seen better days. And I'm just gonna look like I was committing a massacre or something with my fingers. It's a beet murder, that's what it is. But anyways, I'm gonna get these cut up and in the oven, and I'll be back when I'm doing something else. Well, I almost have my roasted beets peeled and in the jar, and my wonderful family helped me and I really appreciate them. And then we will make our brine. Now pickling is really relatively simple. It's just putting whatever vegetables you like in a jar with a vinegar brine, and the acidity in the vinegar preserves your vegetables. You have to pressure can root vegetables and other low acid foods if you're not pickling. So need to decide if you want pickles or if you just want vegetables, because you can just pressure can beets too, and that's fine. It's up to you and what you like and what your family likes. It is just the trade-off of time. You can either purchase pickled beets in the store, and a jar of pickled beets is, I want to say, between $10 and $20 depending on the jar and what kind you buy, and of course where you live in the country. And then, or you can buy beets or grow beets in your garden and pickle them yourself. So it's either time or money. That's with most food preservation, is the trade-off. And for me, I love the whole process of preserving our own food, growing our own food. I love knowing that in any situation I am able to grow and preserve our own food. But if that is not the direction you're going, don't feel bad about it, okay? I do encourage everyone to grow something, just so that you know that you can. Gain skills, gain knowledge, learn to do things for yourself. It's really important. And I personally think that canning and cooking your meals is kind of a lost art form. If we don't pick it up and pass it on to our kids, they won't know how to do it. It is so rewarding to me to be able to share this with you and be able to share it with my children. Anyway, I'm going to get these last few finished up, and then I'm going to make our brine. In this pot, I have 8 cups of water, and I'm going to add 8 cups of sugar. And now I'm going to add 8 cups of vinegar. So I figure because I have like 10 quarts and 1 pint of beets, I will probably need approximately 20 or so cups of brine. So this will give me at least 20 cups of brine. And this is just a 1-to-1 ratio. You can always add more vinegar if you want, more sugar if you want, but don't take vinegar away because you still need the acidity. And make sure that you're using at least a 5% vinegar solution for acidity. Now I'm going to add 8 teaspoons of salt. This is kosher salt. You can use canning salt. I know some people use sea salt. It's just not recommended to do iodized salt. I'm going to heat this up on the stove just till my sugar dissolves. I have my brine ready. I have my beets ready. I'm going to add some spices. Normally I would have added onion, but I didn't have onion, so just use what you got. I have spices, so I'm going to put a teaspoon of pickling spice in each jar. I've seen some people do cinnamon or cloves. In general, I like my pickled beets really simple. But if you don't and you like all the fancy business, then please do all the fancy business. Do what you like and what you know your family is going to eat. Because at the end of the day, it's not worth all the work if they're not going to eat it and you don't like it. I'm also going to do a teaspoon of mustard seed, because in general I like mustard seed in most things that are pickled. When it comes to seasoning in your pickles, any kind of pickles, you have a lot of leeway, or you don't have to add any seasoning at all. I've also done just beets and onions and brine, and it was delicious too. Okay, so I have my seasoning. I'm going to add my brine. We're going to fill up to 1/2 inch of headspace. There we go. Now take your debubbling tool and just kind of work it around the jar. Looks like I need a little bit more brine. All right. Now, I'm going to take a piece of paper towel and some white vinegar. Wipe the rim of my jar because we want to make sure that we don't have any spices or anything sticky. Get canning lid and a ring and put it on just to fingertip tight. If you do it any tighter, then the air as it boils in the water bath canner, it can't escape. And then if it can't escape, it can't suck down and create that seal. So that looks just beautiful. Do another jar. My canner is full and everything is covered by at least 1 inch of water. I have a splash of vinegar and the stove is on. I'm going to bring these up to a boil, and once we're boiling, I will start my processing time. I need to process these for 30 minutes. So when that's done, I'll bring you back and take them out of the canner. My timer went off and I took the lid off and turned everything off. and I've been letting them sit here for a couple minutes. I did have siphoning. My water is a little pink, but kind of expected that. So I'm going to take them out. Pickled beets are just so pretty. Beautiful color, and they will taste amazing. So I'm going to let them sit on my shelf for at least 2 weeks, probably 6, so that all of the flavors can infuse together. Just love it. If you haven't tried canning, I recommend trying to make pickles, any kind of pickles. They're delicious. It's really easy. Don't be afraid to try. You know, just pick up a canning book and some jars. You'd be amazed. Be so blessed. Know that you're loved and be a blessing to someone else. I'll see you in the next video.